You are listening to the Enlightenment Evolution Network. Welcome to Earth Sky People Radio. Living in harmony with Mother Earth and awakening to an intergalactic society. With your host, Victoria Vives, founder of Reiki Wellbeing and co-founder of the Earth Sky People Movement. Any opinions expressed in Earth Sky People Radio do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Enlightenment Evolution Network. Any opinions expressed by Earth Sky People Radio's guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Earth Sky People Radio. Hello, this is Earth Sky People Radio with your host, your friend, and your soul family, Victoria Vives Khuong. You can find me at victoriavives.com. We are together in Earth Sky People Radio, Earth representing our connection with Mother Earth and nature, and Sky representing spirituality and life beyond the Earth. Extraterrestrial life, extra-dimensional. My intention for the show today is for us to deepen in our awakening, to strengthen our connection with one another, getting closer into our oneness, so that we are able to be more clearly seeing the truth behind the veil and walk straight toward our sovereignty. 3 things are needed for this. One of them is to have the desire to know. Another one is to be ready for a teacher to appear in our lives. And finally, we need to walk the talk. When I think of our guest today, well, he definitely has been walking the talk, and he certainly has the thirst for knowledge. And the most important thing is that he is also a teacher, so he's been of service, sharing knowledge and wisdom with the world, very freely. He can speak about anything from syncretism to theology, to sovereignty, to astrology, to breaking fictions. Our guest today is Santos Bonacci. Santos, it is an honor to have you here with us today. Welcome to Earth Sky People Radio.
Yeah, thanks, Victoria. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you kindly.
Thank you so much. I would love to know how your journey started, because all this knowledge that you have been gathering, I mean, not everybody is looking for this information. The information is out there, but having the desire to research and to learn it and to share it as well, that is something else. So I would love for you to share, how did this start?
Yeah, look, it's a good question, that one, because that can be answered from many, many different angles. But how about this angle? Our souls are taken care of by our oversouls. And so each incarnation is very, very special. And each incarnation is overlooked by oversoul entities called angels, angles, whatever you want to call them. You know, I mean, we have much protection and care from the higher realms, because we were created from the higher realms. So I suppose if I can give you a very, very deep and profound explanation as to why I'm doing what I'm doing, and the same applies to you and the listeners, you know, this applies to everybody. But, you know, my soul was always inclined towards languages, music, history, making sense, real sense out of things that seem to confuse. There's always, cognitive dissonance when it comes to the subject of history, religion, politics. There's always distortions, you know. So I've always been looking for the truth to to get away from the distortions. And I've done that through my loves since I was a child. I've always been into theology because I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, so I wanted to know about God. I've always been a linguist because I was brought up on Italian and English, bilingual from day one. And I've always been a musician, started playing the guitar at the age of 9. And so when you combine these two things, theology, languages, and music, and of course many other things, everything that I do, I've been doing since I was a child, astronomy, since I was a child. And so, yeah, these are childhood things. You never change. And so basically those things opened up my eyes to language, music, numbers, all the ingredients that make up the universe. And so I guess I paid attention. I didn't think I was paying attention because, I just didn't see it as paying attention. But now I realize the secret to everything is to pay attention. Store things as you learn them, store them in your heart, create a foundation, a basis of knowledge which is reliable, and, archive information in the right files, just like a computer. Some people are very messy with their computers, right? There's icons all over the desktop, there's files everywhere. Yeah, as much as possible, I like to keep everything orderly, and so the mind should be the same, the brain, I should say. Oh, and the mind, because they are analogues of each other, really. So, yeah, that's my story. Everything I'm doing now, I've always done. And so nothing has changed. And all I say to people is, if I can do it, you can do it. Just pay attention. It's all there. I'm pointing to truths and evidences and proofs that are there. I'm not inventing anything new. I'm not the creator of anything new. I'm not promoting anything of my own thinking, opinions, or beliefs. This is all knowledge that is known and can be known.
Wow, amazing. And still, it is not so easy to really realize about how deep our lives can go when we pay attention on those details. So I feel that is one of the big things, to really be out there as you are doing, sharing information until somebody feels that click and realizes how important it is to pay attention and be aware every day of our lives. When we are speaking, the words that we use, when we are thinking, the thoughts that we have, I feel that it really takes a lot of focus, not just the wisdom. So I feel that you're truly doing it. And I've been watching your videos, including the videos that you have when you had this problem in court. That was really amazing, how you were able to put everything together, not just the law, natural law, but also the spiritual aspect of it, being respectful, but still making sure that your rights are honored. So I feel that is very powerful. I feel that because of our system, we don't always express our rights, or we don't feel that we have those rights. Is that something that you have always understood?
Not understood, no. Understanding has been a struggle for me. When it comes to rights and law, that part was much more of a struggle than the language, the music, and the syncretism, astrology, astrotheology part. Why? Because probably because of severe indoctrination. First of all, school. So I had school, and secondly, I had religion, the Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, the Jehovah's Witnesses were really good at telling you have no rights.
Wow.
You must obey the governments because God put them there, and until such time as God's kingdom comes to fix all these problems, we just have to listen to that old government because God has a controversy with Satan. Until that's sorted out, we have to be submissive to these. And so this was a big thing for me to understand. Finally, when I just got it, and I would have to say I've only really just got it in the last 6 months, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah, well, if I had have got it a year ago in January, the 21st of January last year, when I went to jail for 9 days, if I had have really known what I was preaching, because I was preaching sovereignty then for at least 5 or 6 years. Okay, so I woke up in 2007.
Huh.
When I say woke up, I mean I finally understood the whole. I've been preaching all my life as a Jehovah's Witness that governments were corrupt and that, you know, and conspiracies. They are great conspiracy people, you know. But wake up is a different thing. I consider wake up to be totally emptied of your lower mind desires and temptations and stupidities and vanities, and now you are inheriting your real inheritance, which is spiritual, which is all wisdom, all knowing, all freedom. That's what I mean. That happened for me in 2007, okay? Wow. And, yeah. And so I wouldn't have gone to jail for 9 days if I had known what I know now. What I know now is that there is no entity outside of you that has authority over you.
Right.
Number one, you are the supreme authority. Mm-hmm. And these judges and police and all of these goons, they are waiting for you to give them permission to consent so that they can do things to you which otherwise they wouldn't without your permission. So it comes from consent. So I learnt those things, Victoria. That was very important. That's the first thing we must remember in our path to sovereignty and freedom.
Very powerful. Yeah, I feel that for me it was last year when I actually no, 2013. It was when I realized about that we are our own authority, and the authority outside of ourselves didn't have our best interest at heart, which I, kind of knew, but I tried to see it differently. And now that I realize, I feel that I have so much to learn. I mean, you have a good understanding of law, but I feel that most of us are really beginners in all of this, and it's not something that we can learn in the school. So I feel that it is a complicated situation, and it takes time to really be able to feel, how would I say, safe if there is a situation such as the situation you were in. But I could see your videos and you were expressing things so wisely and, knowing your rights. I don't know if it is the same all around the world. Maybe the law is different in where you are than when I am, but that was very impressive. So thank you for showing that and sharing it with the world.
Yeah, look, I think the other thing which is very important for anyone in any country, anywhere around the world, is to understand the difference between legal and lawful. Lawfully, you are a woman or a man. That's it. Legally, you are a person.
Right.
And once you understand the difference between this, you have your freedom. That's all you need to meditate on. This is where your authority comes from, knowing that you are a man or a woman. And that is the first thing that comes out of your mouth when you talk to any of these corporate officers, bar members, anyone, police, sheriffs, matters not.
Right.
I am a man, and you never do things in person. The person, the corporate name, unless you have copyrighted and taken ownership of that legal name, which is a birth certificate name, unless you do that, you have no right to use your supposedly your legal name. When you do that, you are now in fraud. And that's why the bar do what they do. They put kids in jail for smoking weed. They put them in there for traffic violations. They put them in there for debt. Never should you be in prison for debt. And yet they're going in for debt because they are going in person. They have consented to be that person. They actually told the judge that they were the person. Yes, Your Honour, I am Santo Bonacci, is what they say when they go to court. They tell them, yes, that's me. Well, it's not your name. You don't have copyright legal ownership. They do. And so it's fraud. And that's why people are in jail. They're going in through their name, their legal name, through their person. Their person is their prison because it's a parson. A parson is a Catholic entity. It's a Catholic office. All offices belong to the Catholic. All corporations belong to the Vatican. All names are Catholic, all of them. They're all copyrighted by the Catholic Church, by the Crown, the Triple Crown, the 3 Sestui V Trust Crowns. And if you're using their name as a parson, you will become a person, because that name is a benefice. It's a benefice from Mother Church. It has a watermark in it. Your securitized bond, called a birth certificate, has a watermark in it, because that's the water baptism of the Catholic Church. You are now Catholic. There's no such thing as Seventh-day Adventists, Pentecostals, Methodists. They're all Catholic, because everyone who has a birth certificate is Catholic on this planet. That's that. That's it.
And also, you shared once about that we can get a living certificate, right?
Yeah, live birth certificate.
Live birth, okay.
Yeah.
I gotta look into that.
Yeah, well, it's not even a certificate. It's a record. Because you see, because a record is not a registration. Anything registered belongs to the Regis. Who's the Regis? The Pope. The Pope is the Regis. He is the Regis of the whole universe, the whole world. He is the Regis. He is the king of the planet via the Unum Sanctum 1302 Pope Boniface VIII papal bull.
Wow. So who is behind all of this? Would it be the Illuminati behind all these religions, all the systems? Who is behind, and what do you think is the ultimate plan of these people?
Who is ultimately behind it is the elite families of this planet, the privileged families that have always been privileged. They've never ever suffered want. They've never been poor. They've been for thousands of years, of generations. These Egyptian, Medo-Persian, Babylonian, and Roman, and I would throw in the Greek Empire there too. All empire, all of those empires you hear about. A lot of them really were contemporaneous. The Medes have always been, the Medes and the Parthians and the Persians, all of that Eastern Bloc have always been at war with Rome. I mean, they killed Rome was, Julian in the 4th century, in the year 363, was pierced by an arrow. And he was the emperor of Rome, who 60 years after Constantine, his great cousin, he brought the Roman Empire back to syncretism. Syncretism was enjoyed in Rome after it was founded on syncretism for 3 years, between 360 and 363. Julian, they call him Julian the Apostate. He was the best ever emperor Rome ever had. Forget Marcus Aurelius and all of these other great men. Julian was the one, because he had the tenacity and vision to bring Rome back from the corporate Christian bullshit monotheistic state, which was about the person. They created persons. See, they are the creators of persons. And the elite families, the Constantines, the Julians, Flavians, the Antonines, you know, the Pizzol family, these days they're called Orsini, Farnese, de Medici. See, look at the word Medici. That's Medi, the Medes. They are a Median family. They are into the media.
Ah, wow.
They are the Medes and the Persians.
Wow.
Look at these are the most powerful families in Italy. Farnese, well, that's Farsi, the Persian language. Orsini, these are Egyptian. These are like Egyptian Persian dynasties, and they are the ones who get in when empire grows. When empire is growing, you see, Rome. They always knew that Rome was going to be a great empire because Rome is right. I mean, if you're going to put a city, if you're going to make a city to rule the planet, you would put it in the middle of the Mediterranean, in the middle country, which is Italy, which has the most beautiful yearly climate of the sun, of Dionysus, the god of wine, or Jesus, the god of wine. Same thing. Bacchus, the god of wine. They're all the god of wine. It's the sun. And so sun-bathed Italy, they knew that Roma, amore, backwards.
Right.
Amore is also morte, too, by the way.
Wow.
Which is mortal. Amor and mortal are forever intertwined as brother and sister. So Rome is love, but Rome is death. She's a murderer, a pillager, and she has been controlled by these evil families who have nothing better to do. They are psychopathic pedophiles, and they're just a pack of parasites. And that's who's behind it all. You can rest assured they are behind Big Pharma, drugging people, poisoning them. They are behind the pharmaceutical industry, putting people into hospitals, snuffing them out with their drugs. It is the elite families because they don't care about humanity. They kill them. They kill them. They control them. They harvest their energy. They put them on farms and plantations called companies, states, corporations, you know, like the state of Queensland. It's a farm. The state of Victoria in Australia, it's a farm. They are plantations for all the dumb goy, the slaves of Rome, controlled by these Median families, the Medes and the Persians and the Medicis and the Farneses and the Aldobrandini and the Saxe Coburg Gotha, Rockefeller, Rothschild, Smith, Russell, Collins. All of these names of the well-to-do families who have always had prestige and fame and glory and money and big bank accounts in Switzerland, and they can do whatever they want, really. They are the true rulers, the plutarchs, oligarchs. I call them pimps. It's a pimpocracy. Oligarch, plutocracy, all of this fascism, it just doesn't suit. It's pimpocracy. They are pimps, and they make others go to work for them, and they take the cut.
Wow. The thing is that they never suffered in regards to finances, but I don't think they can truly be happy in any way. I feel that the only happiness comes from connection, from oneness, but they are working on dividing in order to conquer. So I don't truly think that they can be happy per se. What do you think?
Oh, of course. Right. Goes without saying.
Wow. And right now, all this information is really going into the world thanks to the internet, thanks to people like you that is sharing this information. So this is not going to last very long, I don't think so. What are they going to do? They will have to either reintegrate with the rest of the world start changing their tactics, or I don't think that people is going to stay under their dominion.
No, they will devour each other. Their kingdom is divided. They are, because they are divided. They're totally unholistic. They are shattered, tormented, and tortured individuals. They even torture their own families. They rape their own children. You can rest assured that old man Bush would have raped George Bush Jr. many, 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 many times. He is a violent, sadistic, murdering, raping, evil vampire like you have no idea, old man Bush and that dynasty. They are killers beyond your imagination. The Clintons, killers and murderers beyond your imagination. There's a video out about the 94 or 104 or I don't know how many hundreds of people that Hillary and Bill Clinton have murdered. They can, and there's videos out. Just look up YouTube. How many people has Bill and Hillary murdered to get to power?
Wow.
Yeah. And see, if you look at the Franklin cover-up, for instance, you will learn about what happened in the 70s there and how the Bushes were connected. There was a young man called Paul Bonacci, same name as me, Bonacci. Paul Bonacci, he was a young rent boy back in Los Angeles, around where this Franklin cover-up occurred with all of these high-ranking politicians, Jesuits, Catholic-protected pedophiles and criminals. And he was taken to Bohemian Grove, where the Bushes were there, and he witnessed, Paul Bonacci witnessed what they do there. They actually get their rent boys to practice oral sex at the end of a gun, and after they would ejaculate, then they would blow their brains out with the gun anyway. And all of these young guys that were there for that kind of entertainment had to witness this in horror, knowing that they were next.
Oh no!
And this is what they do. This is George Bush. This is how he would get his kicks. Probably, I don't know, definitely weekly. You can see it in their eyes. People, we need to wake up. We really, really need to wake up and make these people absolutely accountable, because their kingdom has been defeated. It's over. It's all over. Their kingdom has been defeated because they are evil and they're destroying themselves. Their kingdom will fall, and truth will prosper. Love will prosper. Omnia veritas. It will never be defeated. Yeah. And they will have to be either rehabilitated into society where they can experience what's called repentance, really, and rehabilitation. That's what repentance, true repentance, means. To stop doing those evil, dead works. They're not just dead, but they're based on death. See, the elites they only have one religion. They use monotheistic Islam, monotheistic Christianity and Judaism to screw the world, really, and through the churches, because they own and operate all the churches, all of them. And they use these churches for mind control and to, dupe people into thinking, oh, wait, God's kingdom's coming. Oh, it's coming. You stand down, though. You sit on your hands. They're all stand-downers. Churchgoers are stand-downers. They stand down for the elites to continue to rape and pillage humanity. And that's all they're doing.
I love what you shared about rehabilitation and repentance. I feel that it is important for us as spiritually aware people to have compassion, not condone, of course, not condone anything that has been done, but be able to give some kind of forgiveness or second chance, and for those people to finally reintegrate into oneness, because I feel that we are still part of the same oneness, whether we want it or not. So I feel it's very important what you shared about having them suffer maybe the other side of the coin so that they can realize that what they were doing is not so good. So not as a vengeance, but some kind of, I guess, a spiritual lesson.
Yeah, well, you see, we extend love to them. It's different. The way they've treated the rest of humanity, the Goy, the Gentiles, is very different to the way we will administer justice to them when justice is administered, which it is and will be, completely. They know that. That's why they continue and continue right until the end. They know that the mercy that true human beings really have, whereas they have no empathy. They have no empathy at all. I mean, they've gone as far as to destroy the science of syncretism on this planet many times over, but it keeps bouncing back. Syncretism just keeps returning and returning and returning to defeat, divide, and conquer. And syncretism now is back, and it's here to stay. I mean, my material is all syncretism, and it cannot be debunked. There's no one out there on this planet who has sat down to make a documentary to debunk the syncretism that I am presenting. Where have they gone? Where is Chris White, the dunce? Where is Mark Dice, the dunce? I call him Mark Dunce. Where is this other idiot called Keith Truth? Those three. I would like these moron, pea-brained, can't wipe their own bum, here comes Jesus in the sky dunces, to all get together and try to, because this Chris White, he's the idiot who goes around going he's debunked Zeitgeist.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, look him up. Have a look at this retard's head. The head on him is just so retarded. You can tell the guy wears nappies. You can tell he's wiping his bum, or probably Mark Dice's, they probably wipe each other's bottoms. But they're going around debunking astrotheology. None of them, I've been challenging them for 3 years on the internet. For 3 years I've been challenging them. Debunk me, morons.
Wow.
And there's not even a boop. Where are they? Where are they? And these are guys who are prepared to offer their stupidity. Mark Dice, and he does a lot on the Alex Jones show. These are buffheads. In Australia, a buffhead is a man with a fat head, which means his attitude is equally as fat, like George Bush. Mark Dice, have a look at him. Check him out, man. He's a big hero. Goes around America with microphone. He does a radio show, and he's, talking about the Constitution and everything. He's a big nappy-wearing, Jesus is coming to save us in the sky. I believe in Jesus. The Jesus? What? The Jesus that the Constantine family and the Flavian family and the Julian family of Rome, who are sodomizing your butt, Mark Dice. Are you talking about that invented Jesus? The literal Jesus who never came and never will return? Idiots. Watch a few of my presentations. So I do get frustrated at these guys because they have no right to open their mouths. They should, just basically flush their heads down a toilet and leave it there, and just let intelligent people do the talking. It's vomitous what comes out of their mouth. I will not tolerate it, and I will jump on them straight away. Shut the mouths of fools. We've been listening to idiots on soapboxes for too long. Oh, they stand in the marketplaces in the corner and sell their snake oil and bullshit. There's only one philosophy in science. It's astrology. Astrology with alchemy, with even astronomy, plain straight science. It's the science of the stars. And the elite families have been, through their well-funded religions, you know, like the religion that Mark Dice goes to and Keith Truth and all of these, you know, superheroes distracting people even more from the truth, distracting even more idiots who are going to be clicking on those videos, and because they're ignoramuses will believe guys like Keith White and all of these morons. The same thing with, you know, guys like Alex Jones. You know, they just distract people from they're funded by Christian churches, monotheistic, pedophile, raping churches. That's what people like Alex Jones are funded by. You know, yeah, they tell you a lot of truth. They expose a lot. That's nice. You know, it probably serves a purpose. But you can tell they're still funded by, you know, Jesuits and money powers. You know, they're not telling the whole truth. If they were telling the whole truth, they would be teaching syncretism. You can tell the radio stations that that are working and paid for the government. They are, any one of them, any station or group that doesn't teach syncretism. How could they miss it? I'm just wondering, I always wonder, how could you miss syncretism? That's why I started doing presentations in 2010, because I was watching all of these great guys, even Michael Tessarian and Jordan Maxwell and all of these great luminaries, and I was thinking, yeah, but they're still missing syncretism, god damn it.
You know, I would love for you to share about syncretism for our audience that maybe are not familiar with the term.
Well, first of all, I want to finish saying that all those radio stations that don't have it, like Coast to Coast, they are just shill stations, guys. Time to wake up. Only the ones that have had me on with syncretism, or, you know, Michael Tessarian and Jordan Maxwell and guys like that, are the true stations and the ones that are actually supporting truth. The rest, you see, like Alex Jones, do you think he's going to have someone like me there? You know, imagine all the Christians there that are pumping money into his show. You know, that would that would be the end of the funding. That would be the end, because it would be the end of their lies. Syncretism is the universal science. I mean, that's it. You know, how could we have missed it? It's atomic philosophy. Everything is atomic. Your body is atomic. It has an anatomy. The universe is atomic. And that's what syncretism is. Syncretism is the science of explaining electrical phenomena.
Wow.
And showing the unity of all sciences, all of them. Whereas Rome's divide and conquer is academic mind control, basically. They just teach erroneous teachings to people who pay a lot of money to get educated, and what they're doing is getting indoctrinated, and they're just getting churned out as morons, you know. This is why the world is still planet dumb, because it's controlled by these idiots. Mostly this is all Roman. The Vatican has created this world, this system of dumbing down, and so they have always snuffed out syncretism. Syncretism was snuffed out in the 4th century by Theodosius, when he destroyed the Alexandrian library, and they murdered Hypatia. He sent the Christian mob onto them through his bishop there, Theodorus, and Theodorus, through Theodosius in Rome, the emperor, who, you know, this is only 30 years after they murdered Julian, the greatest emperor who ever lived, comes the worst, Theodosius, who snuffs out syncretism. Julian brought it in for 3 years. Rome, and Rome was just, in its glory. They were so happy, the Romans, you know. There's no more persecution and stupidity by this Christian corporate monstrosity, Church of St. Peter, Catholic, monotheistic aberration. And they are the murderers of syncretism. And then in the Renaissance it came back. Giovanni Pico della Mirandola in the year 1486, 7, something like that, went down to Rome from Florence with 900 theses of syncretism.
Wow.
And he went down and he said, here's 900 theses of syncretism. And he was going to debate in the Renaissance days there with the Apostolic Senate, the Cardinals of Rome. He called them the Apostolic Senate. He knew their true name. He knew he was going to Rome to teach them about syncretism, the universal perennial philosophy, which they also, his master Marsilio Ficino, called Prisca Theologia, la Prisca Theologia, the ancient theology, the perennial philosophy, the magnum opus, syncretism. And it's always been there. It is our science. It is humanity's science. It is the universe's science. It is the science of understanding light and atoms. And if you look at my presentations, I've released many presentations on atom and radio show, where I've explained that atom is the Word of God. That is, everything comes from atom. All thoughts, all things, all words, all worlds. Atum is all. The Egyptians used to say, all is atum. And this is why we have, atom is in all of our studies, in all of our sciences. Etymology, etymology, anatomy, mathematics. Have a look at the word mathematics. Twice you will see atom backwards. You will see anagrams of the word atom. Yes, and so, because why? Well, because all of our sciences come from light, electrical light. Everything is electrical two-forced light that we see in the world, and nothing is not that. Everything. And electricity is the colors red and blue. Red and blue. Whereas magnetism is the still non-vibrating color of white. Wow. And so the whole universe is made of these atoms. And this is what we have inherited. We have inherited an atomic theology. Not just these sciences have the word atom in them, anatomy, etymology. What about botany? What about meteorology? There you go. Mete, M-E-T-E, is etem.
Wow.
Chemistry. Chemistry has, again, the word emit in it, which is backwards for time, which is exactly who atom is. It's time. It's Timmy. Cymatics. Look at the word cymatics. You'll see atom in there again. Look at the word onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia is the word which means how some words are created. For instance, the formation of a word from a sound associated with that or with what is named. Example, cuckoo. Okay, so a cuckoo goes cuckoo, and so that gets its name. Sizzle. Well, because it sounds when something is cooking, it is sizzling. So those are onomatopoeia words. Right. Well, there's the word atom hiding in the word. Onomatopoeia. You see? So all of our sciences, even the word natural, again, natural science, there it is. Natural is backwards for atun. So when you understand this mirroring in the image of words, you'll also open your eyes as to how language works, and you will, in particular, you will open your eyes to this word atom, and you'll see it hiding in many words, which prove that all languages and sciences go back to atom and syncretism. And in my presentations, I don't only give examples in English. You know, I mean, I've done syncretism in Italian. You can look online, Santos Bonacci, Italian syncretism, and there I am in Italy, Tuscany, and in Florence and in Rome doing syncretism. Look up Spanish, and there I am in Ecuador giving presentations in Ecuador in Spanish.
Wow.
And I've done hundreds and hundreds of Spanish shows with video, with Johnny Guzman from Ecuador on the QLP or Quantum Leap television, YouTube and Facebook channel. And also Johnny Guzman is has been working for nearly 2 years now on a documentary on syncretism in English and in Spanish, and where, you know, he's going to hopefully get it translated in many more languages, because tens and tens of people have offered to translate it. But the point is, syncretism, how can it be missed? I'm just astonished that I'm the only individual on the planet at the moment that is teaching syncretism the way I'm doing it, with the ecliptic and with atom, the two keys. You know, I'm just astounded. This should have been dealt with by thousands and thousands of individuals already. Well, in fact, they have. But they haven't labelled it, and they haven't used the ecliptic, the sine wave, you see, because I'm a believer in what Walter Russell said: the secret of creation lies in the wave. And so I don't do presentations without, you know, incorporating the sine wave. I just won't do it, because you cannot understand anything, or you cannot understand all things, without the sine wave. Everything is based on the sine wave. Everything that exists, that comes into time and space. Everything that is temporal and spatial. And look at the word temporal. That's another atomic word. Tem. Atem. That's the name of the Egyptian god, Tem. You see, the Canaanites called Eve Tanit. T-A-N. Tanit. The Greeks called them the Titans. Right. Atlantis. The demons, the ademons. The demigods, the adem-gods. The demiurgos, the demiurge. See, why does dem always turn up? Why does it always turn up in the gods? You know, Demeter, Damuzi, Atum, Tammuz, Artemis, which is just the feminine way of saying Atamus, Tammuz, Artemis, or is that Atomus, Atomus? No, it's Artemis, Damuzi, which is, you know, the Persian way of saying Tammuz, which is Thomas, which is the twin force of electricity. You see, so Thomas becomes Domus, becomes Dominus. And who is Jesus? Lord Dominus. So, and in the East they call that one Atman. Again, these are all atom words. Atman, Adam, Atom, Artemis, Diana, Dana, Dione, Adonai, Adonis, Dennis, Denzel, Don, Donna, Woden, Odin, Dionysus, Athena. Why would the Greeks call their goddess Athena when that is clearly the feminine version of Aten, of the Egyptians, of Akhenaten. Akhenaten, he put the sun's disk in the skies, and he said, "There it is. Everything is Aten." But see, the Amun priesthood before him, because he was Amun before he changed his name to Akhenaten, and he was Amun or Amenhotep the Fourth. You see, Amen, Amun. And then he said in the 18th dynasty, 3,500 years ago, they say this guy was the first monotheist. What a crock. Well, he probably was, in the sense that he was the first. From there came corporate monotheism, which is the killing machine of all. But he was not the first in that he taught, about one God. Sargon taught that in Assyria, and look, they all taught this one God thing. Monotheism is. But anyway, the point is, Aten became, Saturn. It's all this Athena. See, so Aten becomes Athena. You see, it's all Adam. It's all about Adonai, and Don. This word Aladdin. Look at this, Aladdin. You see, it's about. Look at the word adorn. You see, Adam was adorned in the Garden of Eden with a damsel, a dame, our mother, Eve, our dame. You see, the Canaanites and the Phoenicians called her Tanit. I already mentioned that before.
Yeah.
And Tan backwards is nature. It's the nature. You see, like Tom backwards is mother. Tom, the atom, when you put a B, a silent B on the end of Tom, you get tomb. You see, and Tom backwards is mother, who has a womb. And this is why Plato said, we come from a womb, we go to a tomb. You see, the problem, Victoria, here is I need hours and hours and hours, because now what's happening is I've just warmed up. This is scratching the surface, these tidbits of words here and there that I'm throwing at you. What you would have to do if you seriously wanted to grasp this atomic theology and atomic language that I am presenting to the world today, is go to YouTube and have a look at the two presentations I've done, Atom and the Ecliptic, and Atom and the Coming One. Watch those two at least. If not, go to the archives of astrotheologyradio.com and have a listen to the 2 to 2.5 hour shows that I've done on Atom alone. Awesome. Go to American Freedom Radio, where I've done one show, I'm doing a weekly show there, and I'm going to be doing atomic language and theology there. Go to their archives and look up as much of my radio shows on Atom as you can. I'm telling you this because if you don't do it, you will be so left behind. You will be so sorry one day. I promise you. That's how good it is.
I've been looking at it. That's why I contacted you. I was really impressed of all your information. And also I want to mention for our listeners that your website is universaltruthschool.com, because also you have a lot of materials there.
Yeah, absolutely. universaltruthschool.com. That's my hub.
Right.
That's my little hub where I'm going to focus all my syncretism, information. Okay.
Yeah, and something you spoke about language so much, and I'm also into music a lot. Like sound for me is essential, is something so powerful. So I feel that all the language is, of course, related to the sound, and it's almost like a spell, as many people say. When we get into words, we kind of go out of our hearts into our minds, and it's truly almost a spell. So I'm paying a lot of attention, for sure, to my language and how I phrase anything that I want to express. So one thing that I'm not sure how to express, or if I should change it is when I speak about the word week or weekend. Are you familiar with the origins of that word?
Yeah, week comes from wake, and it's basically the sweep of 7 days. It's the number 7, wake. It actually has to do with Saturn and the moon, because they are brother and sister of each other in many, many, many ways. Firstly, the moon has a 29.49 day cycle, and Saturn has a 29.49 year cycle. That's the first astounding fact about Saturn and Moon that you will ever need to focus on. Once you understand how powerful that is, that 30-day cycle, how powerful that cycle is, then you will understand that both of them are responsible for this number 7. You see, the moon, most people say, the weekly cycle is a moon cycle, monthly cycle, and it is. But Saturn and his day of Saturday, Saturn's day, is the 7th day, the Shabbath, the Sabbath. Sabbath means 7. It's just like saying 7th, Sabbath. And Sheba is another way of saying it. Sheba, the Queen of Sheba, Shiva. This is it's all 7, and Saturn is the lord of this number. He is truly the king of 7. I could go at length into that, but suffice to say that he is all of the 7 planets are all the 7 archetypes of this word atom. They are all atom because they make up atoms. And so what I'm doing is I'm showing how everything, all languages, all sciences, all theologies, all are absorbed in this word atom. Everything is concerned about atom. There's no other subject. Because, you see, what is an atom? Well, let's have a look at the Greek, the true definition of atom. It means not cuttable, indivisible. So it's a unit, right? So when you take the alpha privative away from atom, you're left with Tom. And Thomas is an Aramaic word which means twin. Didymus, Thomas the Didymus, the twin. And so what I'm contending and teaching and showing and arguing and presenting, all those words, is that Tom is a sound. It's a percussive sound, because I understand languages and I understand consonants and what they do. The function of T and D, which are interchangeable here, is a creative sound of fourness. And those 4 are the 4 states of matter: radiance, gas, liquid, and solid. And T and D are responsible for producing that state of fourness. This is why all of our percussive instruments and sounds have this t, d sound in them. For instance, these are all percussive instruments that I'm going to mention right now. Drums, D-U-M, dum-dum, drums. Every drum kit has tom-toms. In China, a gong is called a tam-tam. In Africa, a drum is called a dun-dun. In Cuba, timbali. In orchestras, cymbal, tambourine. In Italy, timpani. Egypt, dumbek. Africa, djembe. Cuba, tambadora. Tabla in India. how about these percussive instruments? Tuba, trumpet, trombone, bongo, gong. In Japan, a gong is a do-ra, do. So you see this tom, tam, dun,
Right.
timbali, tambourine. You're starting to get it, aren't you, right? See,
Oh, yeah.
it's a sound. What atom is, it's like it could either be a big atom. That's why the Hindus say all is Om,
Yes.
right? So there was this big sort of in the East, it was Om and Atma and Param Atma, the great soul, and they also had Amitabhi, the Buddhists, and the other Easterners, the Taoists. Amitabhi, Amit, A-M-I-T, time, emit, Amitabha. It's all about time, guys. It's all etymology. You see, when I pointed this out to my wife about the word etymology, she's Japanese, and she's been giving me tens and tens and tens of words with den and ten.
Wow.
And I'll give you a list in a minute. She's been furnishing me with much Japanese syncretism, and she was just astounded when I explained to her the word etymology. Because it's so clear that if you're looking at the study of the origin of words, and I'm saying atom is the word of God, well then we are studying etymology when we are studying etymology. There's only one science, and it's the science of how the universe is made by language or sound or number, because that's what all the great schools teach us. They all teach us that.
Right.
The Bible teaches that the universe is made by light, let there be light, or sound, because it was the word of God, the Logos, the sound that made the universe. But then see in Kabbalah, in the Zohar, they say all is alphabet. It's all gematria. But gematria is the science of letters and numbers. So Pythagoras was correct too when he said all is number. But all I'm doing in syncretism is pointing out to the fact that atom is where you begin your journey. Atom is the beginning of all things. All things is atum. So forget about... we can forget about division in terms of compartmentalizing the sciences. There's no use doing that anymore. It's futile. Because with the evidences that I've given and brought forward, it's obvious that all languages and all sciences are born of this sound, electrical sound, atum, tom, and this is the origin of all words. You know, I mean, I could spend hours and hours right now just giving you atomic words, a list, and prove this, you know. But I've already done it.
I know.
So.
Thank you so much for sharing that, because this is a great introduction for people who wants to look into your videos, that you have a lot of them, very good, very in-depth. So once again, you guys can go to universaltruthschool.com. And something that I would like to also ask you, more in the legal aspect or natural law aspect, is about back of five and promissory notes. I'm very impressed that that is actually something that can work. I saw some videos and I see that this is a possibility that actually can be used, and I really would love to know how it's possible to put that into practice.
Well, look, you know, with promissory notes and all of that stuff, this is part of the de jure system of the prepaid de jure national system that was set up. You see, with nations, a nation is a trust, and so, you know, when you're born, your name is recorded, and you are part of that national trust. In America, that's the Republic, the United States of America, which was founded in 1776, thereabouts, yeah? And whereas the United States Corporation in D.C., that was founded in 1871, shortly after the Civil War there, okay? And so that one there is... they've created another trust, and that's the that's the takeover of the Republic by the Jesuits and the Catholics. And that's where they have created an artificial for-profit government with a de facto system and trust called SANTOS Trust. And that trust there makes you the trustee, and the government becomes the commercial government becomes the beneficiary. And so whatever you do, you must learn how to use the de jure side, because when you're using promissory notes and things like that, any crossing of jurisdiction by using copyrighted Vatican names, i.e. your birth certificate name, will get you into trouble if you haven't set yourself up properly. And so, see, this is something that with know-how is quite worth doing, you know, and setting yourself up to do. Yeah, because your word is your bond, and so the value that we give to the system is our eternal love, sweat, equity, energy from our existence, because that's where all the money is collateralized, or what's the word I'm looking for? Set against, you see, our energy. What's being harvested through the SANTOS Trust and through the legal tender and legal name is our energy. That's it, just our energy. And so what you have to do is not operate in that system, that commercial system of the legal person name, to do these things. So, look, I'm not really... I don't know. I wouldn't be the right person, definitely, to talk about it, because there's guys who've been doing this for years and years and years and years, and they've got the experience and the technology. And so, because I'm more philosophical, I'm not interested in, not really interested in establishing that for myself. I'm more interested in making a new name for myself and turning my back on what is arguably a Babylonian slave system, which is set up basically to look like it's doing the job it's pretending to do. See, United States of America, the United States Corporation, with its president Barack Obama, is pretending, it's really looking like it's doing the job that it's supposed to do, but it's not. It's just pretending. It's just doing a show, and most people don't realize this. They don't see that there's only really the true government is we, the onlookers, we, the living, because that's what's real. Life is real, A two-dimensional government on paper has no reality, really, because it can't breathe. Paper can't breathe or speak or say anything of its own. It's man's thoughts and magnetic intent that is imprinted on it. And so that's how much more powerful the word is. So we have something that is more powerful. What I did was I posted a video, only a short video of about 3 minutes, where I declared that I have not copyrighted any name, therefore I do not have any permission to use any name, and that I do not authorize anyone to use my image in relation to any legal name.
Oh.
Yeah, and so what I used was a public medium where my voice is audible, so my word is my bond, and my image is visible, so I don't have to sign and prove that I said it. I don't have to sign my life away. I just made the public declaration for the universe forever to know, and I think we have the greatest means now to do everything we need to do via this public means that we have. So better than paper, I think, because I think it's a dimension that you don't want to be arguing in. You don't want to be, dealing in, because words can be, especially if you're using legalese and their terminology and their, creation, laws, codes, statutes, enactments, and language. Even their language is peculiar to them. They say and mean things that they wish to, and they can even change the meanings as they go, like, as they do, as a cheat would do, changing the rules of a game and changing, the dimensions of the scales and the balances and getting insider trader information and stuff like that.
Right. And what would you say that is our future once we really embrace syncretism, understand that we are pure light, divine light? Do you see that happening, that truly we can transform everything in the next few years, perhaps?
Yeah, the potential is there for sure. There's potential for all to awaken, and there's potential for the pedophile elite to wake up and stop hurting and torturing, and because if you torture little children, you're torturing yourself. You can't do that and even pretend that you will escape pain and anguish and misery. Sure, you might get I don't know, maybe they do get a kick out of it while they're doing it. Or maybe they do get something temporary. But why would you go for temporal success when you can have eternal?
Yes.
Eternal. And that's what our goal should be. Like the literary Lord of the Scriptures says, do not store your treasures here on this planet, here where thieves and robbers can come in. Store your treasures in the heavens where moth or rust cannot consume. And so, why are they doing things for temporary advantage? It's only temporary, right. Because all suffering inflicted will return to its maker. All of it. It will return, and it does. Sometimes slowly, but the wheels of justice turn slowly.
Wow. I can only imagine if they awaken and realize all that they have caused to the world. I mean, the feeling of pain and guilt and seeing that there is no way back, but truly that they have done that. I can only imagine the suffering that they can undergo.
Well, it gets piled up somewhere. It does pile up somewhere. See, it's like with fatty foods and junk food. You will the rubbish. It's rubbish, right? So right. It doesn't all come out, and so it does get stored up in places. And sometimes, for instance, in places where you don't realize, in the bowels. The hidden bowels of the earth would be your intestines. And so there's lots of stuff accumulated with the wrong food, eating the wrong food. And organs are also getting cluttered with stones. Liver stones block the liver, and then you get cirrhosis of the liver. People are dying because they're blocking up their organs because of what they're eating. And suffering, but you see, why I'm making this analogy is because people usually eat what tastes good to the palate. Yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum is what is guiding people to their diet. That's the word. It's called the yum, yum diet. That's the diet that Planet Dumb is on right now. Yum, yum. Bacon and eggs, fried in lard. Pork, the worst poison, toxic poison in the universe, bar none, par excellence. And the goy is stuffing it down their throat.
It is an addiction. It is an addiction,
Yeah.
because I have to say, I have been really addicted to cookies all my life. I lately have realized about this, but it's something that is obviously intended to do in our society, that we have a certain level of addiction to sugars, which are in all our processed foods. So unless we awaken to that reality and start taking care of our diets and not use, as you say, the yum 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 diet, we cannot really survive, or well, we can survive but not thrive.
Yeah, so the analogy is those who are ruled by a yum yum diet, well, you can see it in their physique, and you can see it in the fact that they've got a nice tombstone at the age of 36 because they had too much diabetes and overweight, obesity, and arthritis, heart disease, liver cirrhosis, cancer, and everything else because of their food. Well, this is what the killing machine, the elite, are doing to themselves. Because every time they kill and murder and plunder, it gets stored away karmically somewhere for them at a later time. And that's what, the cirrhosis of the liver is to the physical organism. This is what what will happen in the spiritual world. There will be diseases awaiting them, you see, because just as the diseases cause the destruction of physical bodies, so there are spiritual diseases which cause the destruction of souls, and they are destroying their own souls, really. So we're only going to be helping them if we make a stand against them. We are only going to be helping them.
Wow, that's powerful. That's powerful.
It is, because it's true. All truth is so powerful.
I'm so glad also that you are saying this. I do my best to bring harmony, and I don't like to just talk bad about people, even if they are terrible people. But I like to see how we can reintegrate back into oneness and really create a possibility for that. So I appreciate that you're sharing that.
Yeah, look, I would love for organisations like the Bar to come out and publicly make a statement to the world that they will never, ever, ever intimidate any living man or woman to commit fraudulent joinder to their Crown-owned, copyrighted, legal names. And I would love for the Vatican to come out and say, please, we're going to stand as a brotherhood united in arms, and we're going to pray in Vatican Square for world peace and for everyone to put down their arms. And we're going to tell all of the organisations that we command and control to cease all evil things now. I would love for that to take place,
That's going to be hard.
Yeah, it'd be great to embrace these guys as truly, truly repentant and truly forgiven, and come together in the arms of all brothers and live in a paradise abundantly and freely and happy, and no one should ever have to fear again, ever.
Right. It is going to be a tough thing, but I think that exposing these things and helping people returning to their own authority, that is going to be enough so that we put them in a situation that they cannot continue doing that. And it's not going to be their choice, but they are not going to have a choice. So I think that's the only way right now.
Well, I'm doing everything I can to help them. Everything I've done and even everything I've ever exposed them for is for the reason of them being helped and for their own good. So they can never judge my intent, whether I criticize them or whatever I do. As I expose the Vatican, as I expose all these lying, murdering organizations, the intent they will never judge that as evil, because I've put my intent in behind as to why I do that. And first and foremostly, I would be reaching out to all entities, to put down all arms and embrace one another. So, that's my intent. So I can never do wrong with what I am exposing, because my intent is truly pure, and it's for good. Now, they do say that the highway to hell is paved with good intentions. Well, so that shows that intention, whilst it is very, very important, it is important because you can even do things with wrong intent. And this is why the scriptures speak about the importance of intent, because you can actually cause a lot of harm. This is why people like say the Apostle Paul, these literary heroes, were blindly persecuting, and in one part of their life, and then all of a sudden they turn around and realize that they were just persecuting themselves. Wow. You see? So it's not worth. It's simply not worth having that amount of ignorance, of being indoctrinated like churches, and going and killing in the name of churches. You can imagine how many terrorized indigenous people there were when those ships came with all those crosses on them, the Santa Maria, and the Columbus Corporation. Right. Columbus was a corporation, by the way. Oh, wow. And their intent was, because they're heathens now, they've got false gods, we've got to decapitate this culture, Oh. So you see how intent is going to be judged. So, yeah.
Well, Santos, thank you so much for all your sharing. And if you have any other thing, any message that you would like to share to complete this interview, it is all it's all yours, the microphone, to share anything that you would like to complete this interview.
Yeah, well, look, Victoria, I would say to people to really spread the word, really, when it comes to syncretism and this knowledge. And in particular, I'd like to urge the Spanish and Italian-speaking people to grab my videos in Spanish and Italian and share them, because we're pretty spoiled in English. We've got a lot of astrotheology. We've got Michael Sarian's got volumes and volumes of work. Jordan Maxwell, Bill Donahue, volumes and volumes of work. I love Bill Donahue. Malik Jabbar, and there's so many great guys in English, but I'm the only one, as far as I know, that's doing astrotheology in Italian and Spanish. So
amazing. I'm from Spain, and many things I cannot share with my family in Spain. So when you said that you are doing materials in Spanish, I got very excited. So I'm going to send some to my family.
Wow, great. Yes, so I encourage all the listeners to just share that with the Spanish-speaking people that you know, because they really need astrotheology and syncretism. And as far as I know, as I said, I'm the only one doing it. And so that's what I would be doing. And carpe diem, seize the day, just grab the day. Every day that you don't share some light and truths and be active is, a day lost, really, because we've won it. They've been defeated. The old system, the old Roman order has been defeated, because it hasn't been destroyed yet, but it has been defeated because there's too much exposure. There's way too much exposure now, especially with syncretism. It's just universally knowing that syncretism is available, snuffs out the end of divide and conquer. So, but now, it has to be pushed over and toppled, and a new paradigm must begin. Yes. And look at the word paradigm, D-I-M, dim. It's all there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Santos, for being here today. And thank you for everything that you are doing in sharing. I certainly notice that you have that purpose in your life to truly explore, but also share everything that you know. So that is so necessary right now. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Victoria. All the best, sister.
Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much to our listeners as well. And remember, you can go to Santos Bonacci's website, universaltruthschool.com. Okay, and now, as you know, this is a network. It's the Enlightenment Evolution Network. So I'm going to just share with you the different shows that we have. On Mondays at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, we have Heart to Heart Talk Radio with Daniel Scranton. On Tuesday at 12 noon Pacific Time, we have Soulful Preneur with Rachel Archelaus and Megan Crandall-Meyer. On Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, we have the Enlightenment Evolution Hour with Rob Gauthier, the creator of the Enlightenment Evolution Network. On Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, we have Consciousness Evolution Hour with Philip Malika. On Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, The Earth Experience with Kalina Angel. On Saturdays, like today, at 10 a.m. Pacific Time, is Earth Sky People Radio with yours truly, Victoria Vives Khuong. On Saturday at 9 p.m. Pacific Time, Disclosure Now. On Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, About Oneness with Karen Newman. And finally, Sunday at 1 p.m. Pacific Time, we will have very soon the Resonance Intention with Soul and Neil Gaur. Okay, bye for now.
You are listening to the Enlightenment Evolution Network. Welcome to Earth Sky People Radio. Living in harmony with Mother Earth and awakening to an intergalactic society. With your host, Victoria Vives, founder of Reiki Wellbeing and co-founder of the Earth Sky People Movement.